Hey everyone, how's it going today? How's everyone's Friday? Everybody having a good time? It's a cool week this week. I don't know where you guys are all at, but where I'm at, the weather is pretty good right now, which is nice. There is. Hello. David says hello. Jason's saying hey. Randy says hi. Ellie says hi. Eli says hi. Road 77, fantastic Friday. Somebody asked if they mind if I ask a question. No, ask a question. Harvey asked the best buy to amp, the best amp to buy. That is an impossible question. It's just, it's really one of those, like, I don't know, Tactical 6-string says it's 40 degrees where we're at. Well, so it's 90 where I'm at, which sounds probably hot for a lot of people. For us, it's actually very decent because then it's in the 70s at night. Everybody's just kind of coming on. I'm glad everybody's joining me today. Kind of look forward to these Fridays a lot. Today is a long day. I did a lot of repairs today and setups and stuff. So trust me, I was about 2 hours ago. I was pretty done. Looking forward to this. Okay, so let's start with Drew. Drew says, Phillip, do you think that solid state amps will be so good that they'll hold on, it dropped. It moved a little bit, but I think I got the gist of what you're saying. It says, hey, do you think solid state amps will get so good that no one will buy tube amps? I don't really believe that. What I believe will happen, the death of the tube amp, if there's such a thing ever in the future of tube amps. I don't think it's a quality thing. It's a practical thing. Think about it like this. We buy amps because we want to play music. We want to play music because people who play music and tour and create music inspire us to. And so they're always going to be the driving force. The musicians that actually out there, doing it are going to always be the driving force for what happens with gear. And what eventually might happen is it might be like the cloud, right? They might keep presets and settings in a cloud somewhere, so wherever they go, they can go to a venue and have. So think about like an Axe Effects, right? You could have Axe Effects or Kempers at every venue everywhere in the world, and all an artist has to do is show up and Bluetooth in their presets. So that could hurt tube amps. I think that's more of a more realistic issue because there's a practicality to it. No more shipping tube amps, touring with tube amps, right? But sound won't be the big deal for that. Oh, okay. David wants to know if I've tried the J Rocket Archer pedal. If so, what I think. I tried it. I actually was at a pedal club. We do some pedal clubs, and we had 2 Klons and that and just tons. But we had the Soul Food. We did not have the modded Soul Food, and we A/B'd them. And what I found was all of the Klon type pedals are within a percentage of each other, right? And that's where I kind of lost some of the magic. To me, it's got to be like unobtainable, tone. And the truth is, all the copies get close. So, but the Archer was great. I would buy that over a real Klon. Let's see. Hold on a second. Okay, you guys are going fast. There are 244 of us, and we're all asking questions. It says, oh, Alan wants to know if play through the Sanzera 20. It's actually downstairs right now. I have the Archon. I'm playing through the Archon 25. I was waiting for the 3 o'clock point. Let's see. Fender, Mem, or G&L Tribute. I'm trying to figure that out for myself, so you know. I really want to find out how good the G&L stuff is, so I'm working on that. Oh, Lincoln says, hey, he's got a CMG Ashley coming tonight. I discovered CMG because of your channel. Cool. You got to let me know what you think. Did you get it from them or did you get it from RNA Music? I'm just curious where you got it. Okay. There's a question, and it was a tough one. It was, what would be my ultimate pedal board setup? We'll come back to that because that's a big one. The Kevin Hermone says, tube amps will never die. You know, that's the argument. It's not about them dying. Think about this. It's about again, I really believe this. It's not going to be about that. It's going to be practicality. Will everyone have a tube amp? Yes, but what do you do if... so think about this for a second. What do you do if every artist you go see doesn't have tube amps anymore because for reasons of flying on airlines and shipping and you name it, and maintenance, they go with some kind of computerized system? You could still have a love for tube amps. We know they'll still have tube amps at their studios and stuff, but it will change how new musicians view tube amps. It's going to be hard for them to hold on to a holy grail when they're being kind of, inspired by the sound at the moment. So something to think about. Again, I'm never going to get rid of my tube amps. And I can honestly say that I'm always going to be attached to just like a 25 watt tube amp, but I can see where that's the real issue coming up. Wesley wants to know, what's my opinion on Warmoth? I like Warmoth a lot. The quality is good. Those of us who have been, doing this for a long time know that Warmoth's prices have come up a lot over the years, but the quality is still great. The only downfall of Warmoth is whatever you do, it's yours. Let's see. It says, okay, the Tactical 6 says, I am having a very difficult time pairing my katana to the Boss, pairing my katana to the Boss Studio. Okay, he says, I tried it many times and it's not intuitive, and I've had the MA80s. Okay, so it's just, to the atomic amplifier. So the katana is too tricky? Or are you saying the Boss Studio is too tricky? Oh, because the software, the Boss Studio software. I didn't try that. Okay, they are coming so fast. I'm going to just try to grab a couple ones. Brian wants to know if I remember Dr. Fong amps. I don't think so. It sounds familiar. It sounds like something I've heard of, but I don't remember. No, that's a new one on me. So, Nate's saying new guitar ? For me, new guitar? I did not get a new guitar. I'm playing my copper Strat. I haven't bought a new guitar lately. I do have some shenanigans going on, but not a new guitar right now. Let's see. You have a lot of guitar. What is the worst? What is the worst guitar? That's from Can. Well, Esteban guitars are not that great, but those are student guitars. That's a trick, right? Because every time you can't bash on the guitar for being a student guitar. It's just doing its job. It's tough. Worst guitar is tough. It's not that I don't want to be negative. It's just tough, right? I've seen everybody put out a turd. Every company I've ever worked with has had a bad moment. Some companies just have more of them more often. Is that a Japanese Jackson DK2? Yes. That blue one? This one over here? That blue one? Yes, it is. It's a Japanese one. I'm having trouble with it because I took it on trade, and when I took it on trade, the person that traded it, his name's Hunter, it's not worth anything, and which blew my mind, so we couldn't give him any much, and so I've been... I'm a sidetrack. Melio says put the Know Your Gear shirt on the back of a shirt. I think we talked about that last week, and I think we're working on that. Working on a couple shirt things this week to get it all done. Sizes, all kinds of stuff. Anyways, back to the Jackson. This Jackson is worth $200-300, and it blew me away. It's got real Seymour Duncans. It's made in Japan. It's beautiful. So I've kind of inherited it for now because I just can't. I don't know. I got to see what to do with it. So Paul wants to know, hey Phil, what's the quietest bedroom tube amp? For me, I like the Black Star 1 watt. It's a very quiet, very good amp. I highly recommend it. In fact, I almost bought another one this week. Sweetwater has a special limited edition, like tan one with a cabinet. And to be honest with you, if they had the tan one by itself without the cabinet, I would have bought it. I just don't want the cabinet right now. I actually am looking to buy a Freeman 112 cabinet. I was talking to Mark Kazansky last night, and he kind of mentioned he loves his, so I'm thinking about getting one, but Sweetwater was out. So I got to hunt around now. Let's see. All right, so let's see. I'm saying, is it Eric? A-R-I-C? Eric Williams? Says, I have a Know Your Gear t-shirt. I appreciate that very much. Like I said, that's the it makes it, you know what's great about Know Your Gear t-shirts is not only do you guys buy them and support the channel, which is great, what I notice is that I can actually see in sales spikes, you know, when the videos come out, why you guys buy shirts. It seems really cool. It seems like it builds a community that way. So that's how it feels. Plus, I've actually bumped into some people now with them on them, and it's been actually a really cool experience. I can tell you right now, if I was ever walking around and I saw you in a Know Your Gear t-shirt, I will chase you down. It'll probably scare you, but just to say hi. Okay, so Mike says, I love my 6505 Plus combo for live shows. You know, that's my shenanigans this week. I bought a 6505 mini head again. I'm going to give it a shot again. I had one before. I loved it. I just was a little noisy on the clean channel, and it was really bugging me. So I'm going to buy another one now and see if I can get past that. Okay. So here, Reuter Guitar said, hey, you ever built your own amp kit or from scratch? No, I've never built an amp. You know, that's a different animal. So let's see. Robert says, I'm a big fan of the Archon 25. Put some different tubes in the preamp. Seem to take the blanket off the gain channel a bit. Robert, my big thing with the Archon, I don't know if you have the head of the combo. I've had the 50 watt, the 100 watt, and now the 25 watt combo. To me, the Archon's magic is always about the speaker. So yeah, tubes are a big difference, but I will, not that you asked the question, but I will tell you guys, when it comes to changing amp sound, I will always go for speaker before I go for tubes. To me, the speaker is everything. And sadly enough, my personal experience is most companies put in most cases, the cheapest speaker or a cheaper, you know, or the nicest speaker that's still cheap for them to do. And, you know, so it's not a hard upgrade, but tubes are always a good idea, but speakers first, always. Let's see. Next one is, let's see. It's almost as if it's scripted. All right, Christian. I think that's a compliment, right? Let's see. Navy Seal Snake says, new pickups or new amp multi-effects pedal. That's tough, right? I don't know. Me, it would be an amp. If you're not loving the way your sound is, I'm going to take that's the question. Not loving the sound, what changed first? Change the amp, right? Unless the amp has a really good clean and you're happy, you can change it with effects. But so me, it would be new amp, then new effects, then pickups last. So, okay, so Boxcar Longy says, do you like Strat trims? I can't get over the tuning issues. Strat trims, I use the same tremolo system for all my Strats. It's the American Strat Deluxe push-in whammy bar style one. I've just really liked it over the years. I don't use any fancy blocks. I have nothing weird like that. Pretty much all my Strats except for one, that one behind me, that one has this bridge. The one behind me, the only reason it doesn't is because I feel the need to have one stock trem. Plus, that has a wacky, if you're looking at it, here, I'll show you. If you're looking at it, you might notice that tremolo arm looks a little strange, and that's because I had that custom made. It is super, super long. So it's something kind of crazy and out there. So let's see. Best affordable tube Marshall. Best affordable tube Marshall. Well, I mean, you know, used always is going to be the best way to go when it comes to, you know, price-friendly tube Marshalls. But otherwise, it's the DC40, the DC15. Is that DC? No. DSL 40, DSL 15. Those are good. The Class 5s were cool, but they've come up in price. Let's see. Next one. It says, hey, thoughts on the 2017 Gibson LS Paul Faded? I haven't tried them. I was at Guitar Center 2 nights ago, and I saw one, and it was beautiful. It was like a honey color, and I didn't touch it because I was afraid to buy it. So I'm, like I said, I'm working on a new guitar right now, so I'm trying not to buy a guitar, although we'll see what happens. Did you get, okay, this question, Jason said, did you get the setup videos done? They're like I said, they're 90% done. Right now I'm editing. The issue I'm having is I'm pretty sure what I want to do is dump them all at the same time, right? Not every single one of them, but like a set at a time. So that's what I'm doing. But I've been really working hard at getting that done, and it's been a blast. So, and I know this is going to sound strange, But I didn't realize when I was doing them that I do a lot of things that are a little unique. You know, I kind of always perceive when I'm working on instruments that I've really just accumulated knowledge over the years from other, you know, mentors, and that, you know, and that's just how I do it. But when I was videotaping and talking and looking and watching back and editing, I realized I've kind of really morphed a lot of things I've learned over the years into my own little way. And so that was interesting for me. And so when I put them out, I got to make sure that everything makes sense. What was my first guitar? My first guitar was a JB Player Strat copy, and I hated it. And the only reason I got it was my father worked 6 days a week, and so the only day off he had was Sunday. And the only music store open in Tucson on Sunday, that's what they had. So it was either go to store on Sunday and get the guitar, or wait another week and hopefully, you know, he could get a day off during the week. So. And then next question, Jason says, any thoughts on the 2013 Gibson LPJ? I've tried it. I've worked on a couple. They're cool. 2013 is a weird year because some of them have those baked maple fretboards, right? I don't know if that LPJ did, but something different. You know, it might be collectible now because it's different. Let's see. Simon says, did you get a chance to grab your Gelvn guitar? I talked to... Sorry about that. My nose is itching, guys. I talked to William Gelvn via email the other day. He said that he's still working on it. He's having, you know, some issues medically with his eyes and all kinds of stuff, and he's working on it. I'm patient. I've already kind of said this. You know, my plan from the get-go with the guitar was to, you know, you guys voted. Whatever you guys voted for, I bought it. My goal is to review it thoroughly and then do a giveaway, right? That was been my plan from day one. And whatever happens, I'll still follow true to some kind of version of that. Depends on how it lays out. But I wanted to do a giveaway for it because I thought it'd be kind of cool, right? So we'll see. But we'll see. I'm being patient, so we'll all just have to be patient together. What is the difference between a slant and a straight cabs? Well, Rick Mart, the only difference really is that the slant has the two 12-inch speakers tilted up at you so you can hear them like a monitor, right? And the 412 forward, some of them now, all four are tilted slightly for that same reason, but that's mainly it. A lot of people prefer the sound of the box-shaped ones, not the slants. I kind of like the way the 80s looking slant ones look, but they're kind of fading away now. So let's see. And okay. Hi, Phillip. Major KYG show. Great show. Thank you. Hey, which is better, 8 ohm or 60 ohm speakers? Also, what's your opinion on tubes, groove tubes versus EHX JJ? Groove tubes, I have constant trouble with. I've had more bad groove tubes than I can ever even tell you guys. I got nothing good to say about groove tubes. If you guys out there have had good luck with groove tubes, I'm glad, but I mean, I couldn't tell you guys. In fact, I did a video how to swap a tube on your Hot Rod Deluxe. In that video, if you read those comments, which I wouldn't because there's a lot, there's a constant saying, people saying, hey Phil, I did your mod and it doesn't work and the tube is squealing, and it's every time if you see me responding is it groove tubes? And like, yes. And I'm like, you got to get something else. I like JJs. JJs are good. JJs are cheap. Stick with JJs. EHX, which is Sovtech, right, is good. So tubes, I'm almost okay with everything. I just had so much bad luck with groove tubes for so many years. I'm just groove tubed out, so I can't recommend them. Hey Phil, what do you think about the Gibson Firebird? I'm thinking about getting one, even though I'm a Fender guy, but something about it suits me. Again, there was one of those. You're talking about the new ones, right? There was one of those new weird ones at the Guitar Center, and it was really cool, right? It's kind of a cool guitar. What's cool about that is when you have that guitar, it sticks out because you're the only one with it. Let's see next. Oh, okay, so here's a good one. Daryl's saying, I have tube amps at home, but I only take out my Helix. Yeah, well, so, I'm one of my concerns about looking at Axe-FX or Kemper or Helix, all that stuff is I'm afraid if I go that route, then I won't use the amps I have because, right, it'll just do it. And there's something about these tube amps that I kind of love just each time. So, okay, let's scroll down. I know if I'm missing you guys, I'm sorry again. There's 444 of us all hanging out right now. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, okay. So somebody said, what would you recommend for a tube amp for bedroom levels, like playing rock metal? I just bought a 6505 mini head yesterday. I would go that route. So that's a good one. Also, the Blackstar 5 watt is a great amp for that, for metal, for quiet. The Blackstar 1 watt, the LBX amps, right? All great tube amps that will do metal quiet for sure, or lower volumes. So, which is my smoothest guitar? My guitar, so you know, my guitar that I play, I have a Paul Reed Smith Mira I play a lot, but the guitar I play 99% of the time is this guitar. This guitar has dings and dents and beat up. It has been destroyed and played. And the reason I play it is because this is a custom Fender that I had made for me. It is custom in every way. It's got a custom neck. A shape to the neck is custom. The radius on the fretboard is 12 inch instead of the 9.5. Everything about it. So it's just something that I've been playing. And I had the luxury when I had these made, is I had so many of them made over time that each time I was able to make a tweak, and by the final batch, you know, it was dialed in. So this is why I play it. It's just comfortable. So, but that's what it is. But I could just play any kind of Strat. Or Strat-like guitars. I just like that shape. It's comfortable. So let's see. Somebody asked about the setup video again. Like I said, they're coming out. They're just, like I said, I'm deciding right now if I want to put them out onesie, twosies, or all at once, because they are compartmentalized. Let's see. It says, see, it jumps. Okay, let's go. Whoops. It really jumped that time. All right. All right, here's, okay, the common question is, what guitar is best for the price? I'm wondering what guitars are not best for the price. They may be good, but overpriced for the example. Well, that's a hard one, right, Levy, to answer, or Levi, sorry, to answer, is because, you know, everybody's going to have a different, you know, feeling, not an opinion. Guitars, sometimes when you're purchasing them, that's a feeling. It's an emotional thing, right? But with that being said, let me turn off my, with that being said, guitars that I think are overpriced, it's tough, right? It's impossible to say, right? And I'm trying to see if there's anything cool I can say, like a cool wisdom thing when it comes to that, but no. I personally feel sometimes, though, when I see anything bolt-on guitars for $3,000, I'm always like shaking my head. I still look at them, I still want them, but I do go, I don't see where we come to that number. So let's see. Hi, Phil. Can you please recommend a compressor? I'm thinking about the Boss CP-1X. For compressors, I like the CP-101 by Maxon, and I like the where's it at? The Wampler Ego Mini and Ego. I really like those. These guys. These are really cool. MXR's compressors, but I always tell you, if you're new, if this isn't, you know, if you've had compression, great. These are some suggestions. If you've never had a compressor pedal, I can't fault your logic. Go with Boss or MXR and go basic, right? You might upgrade later or change later, but you may not. So it's always worth to, you know, start where everybody else started. Philip, your thoughts on the Johnny Marr Fender Jaguar? It's awesome. I really wanted they have a purple one, right? They have a bunch of, the orange one. That's the one. I ordered one for a customer once, and I set it up, and it was orange, and I just wanted it so bad. But you know, you can't serve too many masters. And the Jazz Master and those guitars and the Jaguars, they're just too slightly different for me. You know, right? It's like I want one in the collection, but then I realize I'm either going to play a Strat. It's already weird to play the Telly sometimes. Like I said, once you get used to a shape, you're just used to it. So, let's see. Oh, okay, here's a good question, Tony. Tony's asking, can you do an update on who makes what brand of guitars? Yes. In fact, you know, I'm going to do that. And, you know, my wife, believe it or not, she asked me if I would be willing to go through some of the older videos that, you know, before I learned how to even edit or point a camera in the right direction, or do any of that stuff, and not just update the video and make it new fresh, but then re-update it. Yes, and you know, even then I was probably a little restrained in what I said and did because, you know, I didn't want to upset anybody in the industry, and I still don't want to upset anybody in the industry. It's not the goal, but I can be even a little more forthcoming, which is cool. So yeah, I will do that. In fact, if you guys think that's a good idea, let me know, because there's some changes, right? Changes the world. It would be cool to know. So Phil, Horizon Precision Drive. I haven't tried it, Melio 3. I don't know. There is... Okay, here's a good one. Are there any advantages to Morley's LED system as opposed to the Crybaby style with the pod? Yes, there absolutely is, Ian. So, you know, there's something very... you know, not mystical, I don't want to say that. There's something very iconic about a Crybaby wah, right? The way it works, but the Morley LEDs are a different animal. First of all, they don't put a load on your signal like the traditional. They are buffered, which means they boost the signal a little bit differently. They are smoother, but the main thing they do is they flip the wah, so you know. And what that means is when you step on a Crybaby, you push it forward and click, and so when it kicks on, it's in high and it goes to low. When you step on a Morley, it's actually angled back and it clicks low to high. So it has a more intense wah sweep in the very first. That's why Steve Vai and guys like those, so immediately, as soon as they hit that note, they wah in. But what's great is, Ian, you really don't even have to pick. If you're a Crybaby fan, Crybaby makes a pedal. It's like the 93Q or something like that, 95Q. That is basically a Morley with that kind of same technology, just still using a little bit of their magic too. But I'm a big fan of Morley. I have the Bad Horsey and I have the Maverick, and I love them. Although I have Crybabys too, and I like Crybabys. I still can't get over the fact that I want to just use my Morley. Panhandle Gear says, did you see the video from Shane at In the Blues about the inflated Fender price? I did. I watched every single one of those videos from him. He's a great demoer, a great video. If you guys looking for more videos, In the Blues is a great guy. He's from Australia. He's just a cool cat. I watch pretty much all his videos, right? I watch those for sure. Yeah, I thought that was crazy, right? And I actually wish I was thinking about, you know, if there was anything I know about that, but I've never heard of that. So, but what I can tell you that I do know is when it comes to distribution, distributors do cut themselves in a piece. So that's maybe what that is. So I don't know if Fender's the culprit is what I'm basically getting at. And so you guys don't get lost on this. If you watch In the Blues, what he was saying in Australia, American standard strats or American professional strats are hitting $3,000, right? And because, not just because of exchange rates, just because of all the, you know, everything. And I think that's because there's a distributor, a go-between. So Andy wants to know thoughts on the Mesa Triple Clown. I have not tried it. I just saw Ryan Bruce, you know, Fluff, do his video. I talked to Mesa Boogie. I asked them if they were willing to let me come down to California and do some reviews, and they weren't interested. So, you know, so that's the and. I don't know what to say besides that, you know, right? I thought it'd be fun, you know, and I told them, I said it'd be cool for NAMM coverage, you know, right? I want to do it NAMM. I'm going to be down there, do it. They weren't interested. I can go and find a music store. I'm not going to buy one. It's not something I'm in the market for. So it's more of I'm curious, like you guys are curious, but they weren't interested. So, okay. So next, so Brian's saying, yeah, let's do a redo of the manufacturer's video. And hold on, make sure my phone is off. Sorry, guys. Okay, so let's see. So the question is, Phil, at the NAMM show this year, did you play the new EVH 5150? How does it compare to the Stripe versions? Are you talking about like the LBX, that new amp, this one? Or are you talking about the crazy stealth one, whatever, the other one, the new 100-watt head, that EL34 or whatever one, it's too hissy for me. It's too much. So it's just everything's too much. Too much money, too much hissing, too much everything. I got it. You got to have that amp is definitely set for a type of player. If you want that amp, that's for you. But if you're just looking for an amp, that's, you know, there's other versions to look at. Okay, so here, Bloody Sheen says, Phil, cheap, good tube amps around $400 or $500. Really need advice. You know, if you're looking to save scratch and you want a deal, look at some old Peavey tube amps made in the USA. That's always a good way to go. I say that every time. It's a broken record, but I will say it. If you're trying to save money and you're looking for something good, something like that, you can always run them clean, run a good pedal through them. Those are really good too, to think about, right, in that price range. So Drew's saying, hey, Phil, I really like your Magnificent 7 Telly. I am also a Strat mostly. I'm thinking about getting a Nashville Telly. What are your thoughts on it? It's good, right? It's got the extra pickup, right? The Nashville's got the pickup in the middle. That's what the deal is, right? It's really cool. So I don't know what to say. Yeah, it's a good Telly. I've worked on them, right? And I like it. There is. Okay, so Steve wants to know, my Charvel San Dimas was delivered today. You know, new guitar day is cool, right? Anybody else getting something cool this week? Here's a good one. So Ben Goody said, hey, have you tried the Ernie Ball Paradigm strings? I haven't. I went and looked online and I didn't see any really in stock yet. Has anyone actually seen them? You know, and I was just, like I said, I was just at that Guitar Center on Wednesday and I didn't think to look at their string selections if they got one. Because I went in there looking for a bass and they, because I thought they had this used bass, but it didn't work out. It was not in the best condition. Let's see. All right, next one. All right, let's jump. There's 484 of us hanging out, which is cool. And I think what's happening is it's jumping on me, but okay, here's the one. Phil Smith says, Fender American Elite Strat versus Fender American Vintage Strat. You need to do a video about that. Yeah. Well, the Fender American Vintage Strats are not currently, I think, in production. They're doing something else with them, right? I think that's so they did the Elites. They revised the Deluxes to Elites. They revised the Standards to the Pros, and now they're going to revise the Vintage stuff. But they're so different, Phil. Those are two different animals. To me, the Elite is for someone who's looking like, I think the Deluxe and the Elite stuff from Fender has always been like people who like more performance style instruments like Charvel, but want it vibed and sounded like a Fender, and but without some of the. So it's a different animal for sure. And then Mark says, hey Phil, any good cheap clones of the Klon or Bad Horsey? Well, if you want it's not cheaper, but there's a Maverick by Morley that's a version of the Bad Horsey. Klons, of course, there's tons of good cheap ones. One of my favorites though is the Soul Food, right? If you're looking for that same vibe, the Soul Food can't be beat. It's like $70 now. Let's see. And then Bloody said, hey, thanks, Phil. Yeah, Peavey was an idea. I'll try and look at them. Thanks for the videos. Really enjoy your stuff. Thank you. And he's okay, let's see. All right, here's a good question. Cheddar Kung Pao says, I got a PRS Reclaimed Limited CE24 a couple weeks ago, and I can't put it down. Yeah, right? You like it? I was thinking about, that's what I was on another guitar on my radar, right? I'm just weirded out because you can't tell what they're going to look like till you get one. Did you see it before you ordered it? Or did you order it and then it showed up and it's like, right? They are. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, PRS is doing a limited run or did a limited run of these reclaimed wood guitars that are kind of cool, where they took some old stuff. And next one is, okay, next. I'm sorry, guys. I'm reading it as fast as I can. All right, Phil, I found a Fender Japan 62 reissue Telecaster. Do you know if it's any good? I don't. But my experience is Fender Japan stuff is always good. I mean, if it's bad, it's because somebody did something horrible to it. But for quality of the actual instrument, it's fine. Hold on a second. My screen is... Sorry to do this to you guys, but literally, I don't know what it caused it, but my screen just jumped. There is. Okay, let's back to the meat of it. Okay, so Cheddar Kung Pao said, I didn't see it until Sweetwater emailed me pictures when they shipped it. So, sweet. Yeah, I really want one of those Reclaimed PRS models. Yeah, it's a cool idea. I think they should do more stuff like that. Not only because it's cool because it's Reclaimed, but think about this. Cheddar, something to think about is, that guitar is unique. That's a custom shop piece of gear. That's what I've learned in my years of collecting is that when there's limited runs like this, especially not limited where the price is jacked up, there was no jack up on that price. That was legit, right? It was like $1,500, $1,600 maybe. It wasn't much, right? So you can't go wrong with that. So here's a good one. James Grimes 46. Hi Phil, how do you keep an unfinished neck and fingerboard clean? Well, if it's maple, there's really nothing you can do, right? That's what happens. The oils in your skin and stuff get in there. There's nothing you can do. You can't sand it. You can't put any moisture on it. It's gonna make the fibers in the wood spread out, and it's gonna feel like it needs to be sand again. So, and then Chris Sorrento said, yeah, it's PRS Reclaims have F-holes. I wish they would have done a solid body. Yeah, it's Chris, it's because they're just putting, the Reclaim thing is really only the cap, the top of the guitar is Reclaim, and I think they were just looking for something different. So that's why they did it that way. But yeah, I think a solid body would have been a cool thing. The Clint's saying, thoughts on the Peavey Classic 30? Clint, like I tell everybody, that's a great amp as long as you get a good deal on it. Right, you can't go wrong. The distortion's pretty good. It's not great, but it's good. Clean's fantastic. You can run pedals through it. It's basically just a Fender, and they're relatively inexpensive used, although they're inching up back up. They're inching up. So the okay, so somebody said that the Japan Tele sells for about $1,000. Is that too much? Hey, you guys tell me. Japan Telecaster, what do you think? $1,000 too much? Feels too high to me. So I would really have to want it, and it would have to be unique and cool for $1,000. Because $1,000, to me, $1,000 is the magic number. And what I mean by that is $1,000 means you don't compromise anymore. In our world, right? I mean, I think you guys agree with that. There's 483 of us hanging out, 482 of us hanging out. Somebody just left. You guys tell me, $1,000. I feel like I can get something I love for $1,000. So I don't think you should ever settle when it comes to that price tag. Okay, Eric Riley. Hey, Eric, what's up? He says, I have clean EVH neck with 3.1 Murphy's oil soap. Good to know. So you can give that a try. So if he's had good luck with it, it's worth trying. Let's see. Have you ever played a Jackson SL3X Soloist? If you did, how does it feel? I have, but not in a noteworthy way where I could tell you like, oh, it was great. Just those are good kind of guitars that I've worked on and set up before they went out and stuff, or somebody brought it into me. So I can't really give you a recollection of anything amazing about it, but there was nothing I remember bad about it, if that helps. Evan wants to know, how do you feel about the stereo or wet-dry combo? What would pair well with the Mark 525? Oh, did you ask me this last week? I think we talked about orange or something like that. Somebody asked me about this too. I have the Mark 525. If I was gonna pair it with something, like I said, I would want to pair it with something dramatically different. So something more Fendery or Marshall for sure. Cheddar saying, yeah, $1,000 plus needs to be an amazing guitar without compromise. I agree, right? Funny story is, I don't know if I could have said that years and years ago, but I would say that now, right? There's just so much great stuff for $1,000. Here's a good one. Jay Maxey's got a great question, and there's almost 500 of us hanging out. There's 497. He says, what would you recommend to a guy who likes a Les Paul sound but prefers the ergonomics of a Strat? Schecter. Yeah, Schecter bodies, right? You can get a Schecter with a Les Paul style bridge. It's got a Fender C-shaped kind of neck to it. So you look at some of those Schecters, that's what they do. They have that. To me, the Schecter's marketing is a disaster. They're marketed so much in metal, but to be honest, to me, it's really, they should have went after us Strat guys who want Les Paul sound. But, but not using your eyes and their marketing of metal, you know, they are a very cool guitar for sure. Quality is amazing, and that's the right vibe. Let's see. Somebody just asked me, okay, Mr. Bacon says, have you ever played a Goofy Goober rock on guitar? No, but I'm going to Google that when I do the index of this later. I will look back at this question and I will Google that. Let's see. Dave says, $1,000 Japanese telly, maybe, if mint, but I'd still haggle. I agree with Dave. That's my vote right now for you guys. I'd want to be 8. You know what I mean? So I'd want to be south of $1,000 as much as I could get. There is there an easy way to set the intonation on a Floyd? Just the screw part. I get the tuner part. Yeah, you're talking about setting the intonation saddles. Is there an easy way? No, not specifically an easy way, but I can tell you, this is something you can do, is if you have a friend, right? So you have to have friends that are guitar players. You find a friend or a Floyd Rose guitar like it, same model, and that is intonated, and you ask them for the exact measurements from the nut to the saddles, and then you set the saddles to that, and that'll get you really close so that you can just start adjusting them finite. So there you go. And that'll I always find measuring gets you there faster, and then start messing with stuff. So let's see. God is Good said, what do you think about an old Fender? I don't know. They're good. The old Fenders are cool. You mean amps, guitars? I mean, you know, I'm not into buying stuff that's old for a crazy amount of money, though. That's just not my thing. Vintage stuff, it's just not when there's so much cool stuff to be purchased at lower prices. And, you know, okay, here's another one. You know, Bloody saying, hey, thoughts on USSR custom guitars, old 80s and 90s. I don't even know about those. I love it when you guys keep saying stuff, and I'm like, I've never heard of this. I have to check this out, right? Melio3 saying FGNs are nice guitars, nice quality. So I think are those the Fujigens guitars? Keith is also saying, I think to mention when I was talking about the Schecter guitars, he's saying that he took a Schecter Omen 6 Extreme and put Seymour Duncans in it, and it's cool. And yes, my experience with Schecter is they're fantastic guitars, right? Let's see. Oh, Ed wants to know, what do you think of the new Fender offset guitars? I'm a big dude, so they don't really appeal to me. They're all in the smaller size, but I love the idea and I love the guitars. But yeah, I'm not, you know, I'm 6 foot. I don't want a guitar any smaller than I already have now. But other than that, I love them. So, and when I say that, I mean, I just don't want to look any bigger than I am when I'm holding the guitar. It already looks, you know, silly. Let's see. Have you tried Yamaha? Nope. It's the Revstar RS820. I have not. But so you guys know what I'm doing now is when we do these questions, I'm going through, listening to going and I'm indexing the videos. You'll notice now I'm putting all the questions and then now what's great is I can look up these things that we're talking about for later. Let's see. So Possum Man says, I bought a Schecter guitar and it has active pickups. What is the deal, actives or passives? So here's the interesting thing about actives and passives. You know, active pickups get such a bad rap. They are fantastic pickups. I'm not a huge active fan. I don't really use them, and they're not my cup of tea. But it's not a quality thing, and it's not because I think they sound digital or fake. They're not. Active pickups are just a different way to accomplish the same thing. They use a weaker magnet, which lets the string move more freely without a magnetic interference. But then because they're so weak, it has to be boosted with a battery and a preamp. You know, so they have to power preamp to get the signal back up. But actives do get pigeonholed into being metal, even though David Gilmour is one of the most, you know, kind of one of the most prominent using EMG pickup people out there, and of course, you know, he does it for sustain. So another thing is too is they they use active pickups when they play big stages because it helps push that signal through all that cable. I can't believe it, so you guys know. There's 511 of us hanging out right now. So that's crazy. All right, let's see. Andrew Fontes says, have you ever considered designing or building your own guitar? I have. I actually designed and built my own bass. It's called the Zula bass, and I sold thousands of those. I did that. That's how I got into this industry. I started doing that, and what happened with me was it didn't fulfill me in the way I thought. I really felt like I was trapped, just working on the instruments and not talking to anybody and fulfilling orders, and it made me go a different route. But I did do that. And the question, of course, would I ever do it again? No, not really. I'm on a project right now. I'm building 2 guitars right now, not for customers or myself, but for a project that I'm involved with somebody else. And that's kind of fun, and we'll talk about what that is. Whether it happens the way it's supposed to or a different way, I'm going to talk about it eventually. It's just, and it's not because it's top secret. It's just because right now there's nothing to talk about. Dylan wants to know, Phillip, what's a good wireless product for a guitar? I don't know, Dylan. I haven't really tried any. I know this. I've had companies bring me these Bluetooth ones, and they're horrendous. You plug your guitar into it and you plug it into your amp, and for me it made everything sound digital. In fact, the experience I had with them was, if you ever played like the Line 6 Verax guitars, they're really cool, but you can tell it's got a digital kind of vibe to it when you're hearing it, and that's cool because you're getting all these different sounds, so it's a give or take. I don't like the digital sound, but I like having all those sounds. This was just the sound of your guitar digitized, so I wasn't digging it at all. So I don't think the Bluetooth ones are there yet, although I keep hearing good things. My personal experience is just trying the 2 were. And for the record, they were trying to give them to me for free, and I said no. Because I was like, there's like no way I'm going to use this. So that really is kind of more of the slap in the face. I just want to point that out. It's not because I didn't want to spend my money for the value. I didn't even want to take a free sample. Let's see. Okay, here's a good one. Gabe wants to know, I have a DSL 40C combo, cool, and I only run triode mode, and it works, but it's really hard to get that Marshall tube tone. And are you talking about turning it down, or right? It's tough, right? Because it's. I need to know, when you say you can't get the tone, what do you mean? Like just at any volume, or just quiet, or what's right? Because I think by triode you're trying to imply quiet, right? Yeah, you can't. Marshall's tone is loud. He is the father of loud. That's the problem with Marshall. I wish Marshall would make more small amps, because I think the concept of like their 1 and 5 watt amps are great, which is you crank them to 10, because that's the Marshall sound, cranking it. Let's see. Okay, so here's a good one. Phil Smith says, Phil, do you know magnetless keystone pickups? No buzz, no digital, and emulation in any pickup from Huckler singles. So I haven't, but like I said, when I do the index, I will look them up. So we'll give it a chance. Dylan also wanted to say, hey Phil, did you get a chance to check out, am I saying it, Albion amps? No, but again, that's why I'm saying it right now, so later I can hear it and check again. Okay. Oh, here's a good one. BC Rich 581 says, have you ever played the old Mesa Boogie transatlantic head or combo? It was a 15 and a 25 watts, I believe. Yeah, the first small amp I ever I'm gonna get into small amps was a transatlantic 15. I tried it and I wasn't loving it. And then the 30 came out and had reverb and it was a little bit more, pleasing. The problem is I love the way they look. Some people don't, but I do. I love the way they look. But I had, by the time I was ready for that, I had bought the Mark V Mini, and the Mark V I think is a more diverse amp. But I am always thinking about a transatlantic head because of Andy Timmons was playing one in a video once, and he sounded so good. But I've played them in stores, and I didn't, I wasn't blown away. But they're good amps. I just wasn't blown away. So the and the transatlantic 15, sometimes they're smoking deals, right? I've seen online. They inch back up. I'd have to look. We'll have to look to see what they're going for right now. Last time I looked, they were a little hot on the high side again. Stu McDonald wanted to know if if I ever got the Gelvn guitar. I talked about that earlier, Stuart. So just not yet. So if you later, if you want to watch back where we talked about that. Oh, okay. So Sinir saying, Phil, I was referring to the EVH guitars, new 5150 guitar versus the Stripe series. Oh, okay, the guitar, not the amp. I didn't try it at the show. I saw it. I wasn't really interested. I have one. Whoops, right there. And in all fairness, my motivation to have the EVH Stripe series guitar is because it is a hand painted guitar. It is sub in south of the $1,000 price mark. And eventually they will stop making them. So it's not like an investment where I'm like, I'm going to make money. Just sometimes it's fun to own guitars where you know that you can sell it one day for what you paid for it. And I know I'll eventually, if I ever get rid of this guitar, I will get what I paid for it. So it's just a gear account kind of thing. And it's fun to have, and it looks cool, and I play it sometimes, and it's fun. So, but that guitar, I didn't dig that they went to $1,300, $1,400. I thought that was too much money. So that was my thing. So let's see. Dylan wants to know, Malone wants to know, what are your thoughts on the Epiphone Les Paul Jr.? I've set up many of them, and some are good and some are horrific, and usually the horrific ones have fret issues. So if the frets are good, the guitar is good. If the frets are bad, the guitar is bad. So if you're asking me, like, because you have one, you want to know what I think of yours, I think as long as you don't have any issues, I've had good experiences with good guitars. If you're thinking about buying one, you need to play them if they're used, because like I said, they have issues. And if you buy one new, you want to do a full inspection and make sure you get it swapped out before you lose your return time. Because like I said, they send out some good ones and some bad ones. Let's see. Hey, Phil, what are some good starter bass guitars? I want to learn, and I would love your opinion on that. Thanks. Yeah, John, if you're a guitar player, I do recommend a shorter scale bass. I have a 32-inch scale Stewham bass right here. I'm getting another 32-inch scale bass soon by Warwick. That's what I'm doing next. And so I do like going to the shorter scale basses. However, I really highly recommend the Sound Gear and the Squier stuff. Squier basses are fantastic, right? Squier basses are definitely a better buy and a higher quality set than the guitar line is. And the guitar line's not too shabby, right? It's a pretty good line. There's some real winners in that Squier line right now. So, but the basses have been consistently better the entire time. And Squier basses sometimes are smoking deals used. So Squier basses, Ibanez basses, all good stuff to look at. Easy to play, nice. Let's see, and next one. Okay, James says the Marshall sound is power tube distortion. Yes, I agree. It's just cranking it, which is the way Marshall sound is so difficult unless you can really crank the amp. Yes, and I've tried, and everybody tries. I've tried the power brake and all the power, don't listen to me. I've tried the power brake, and I've tried all the ways to attenuate an amp, a Marshall, and you know what? It's just never going to be the same. So to get a Marshall tone, you got to crank it. That's why, like I said, it was smart when Marshall made those 1-watt amps. Marshall should make a 5-watt that switches to 1-watt version of all their amps made in China and get that price down to $500. I would buy them all. I mean, without a doubt. If they made a JCM 800, a 900, a 2000, a JTM, a JMP that are all 5 watts to switch down to 1 watt, and like they did when they did that anniversary series, that was $800. That was, because I bought 2 of those and I got rid of them because they were $800. It was ridiculous. But for $500, right? Like the 6505 Mini, right? In that sweet price point, right? I love the idea that they could take and make all the iconic tube amps into small 5 and 1 watt versions for us to collect up. I would totally do it, especially if they could just get them close to the sounds. So there you go. Let's see. And there's 520 of us all hanging out right now. That's amazing. You guys are awesome. Let's see. Talking about bass, what about those Sir Marcus Miller V7s? I haven't tried them. That's Phil Smith. I haven't tried those. I've watched the infomercials on them. Marcus Miller is my favorite probably musician of all time. He's my guy, right? Like, I mean, he's the only musician I ever met that's one of my heroes that I got to meet, that I just literally turned into a little child, and I couldn't even really talk. And it's just because he's just been so cool, as a musician. But yeah, I like the idea. They're affordable, $400 or $500. But without having my hands on one, maybe I'll call them. Maybe they'll send me one to try. Right? what's great is I try to contact the smaller companies now because I don't do paid videos. I don't do any kind of endorsements or anything like that. So all they got to do is just get the product to me so I can check it out and we talk about it. So, and I'm getting some better responses lately on that. I'm also getting some bad responses on that because I've kind of figured out a lot of companies don't like it if I call it going rogue if they can't control you a little bit. So, and I'm a nice guy, so I don't know what they're afraid of. Here's a good one. Harry says, can I run a Boss GT1 into a 15-watt combo? The Boss GT1, the pedal? Like it's a pedal, right? Just clarify that because I'm pretty sure that before I say what I want to say, I want to make sure what it is. Here's a good one. And it's kind of fun. So Tulio said, Phil, what do you think about the Mesa Boogie Triaxis or JMP1 from Marshall as like 2 preamps? Are they dead? Well, they're rack mount stuff, right? They're collectible. I think Boogie still makes the Triax, and I don't think Marshall makes the JMP1 anymore, but I could be wrong on that. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I'm pretty sure I saw the Triaxis on the menu on Mesa recently. No, you know what it is? The problem with gear, like any gear, is they're on iconic albums, which means people are going to still want the sounds. So as long as there's customers, they'll keep making them. But, we all know rack mount stuff's pretty dead. Although, keep this in mind, the two notes... a cabinet simulator stuff as rack mount. It might be cool to put one of the Triaxis in the JMP and then a cabinet simulator, make a rack mount of that. Could be kind of cool. Tyler Lawson, the Shred God, said, "Hi Phil, I have trouble setting my string height. Any tips?" Yeah, you're talking about like setting it to the sweet spot where it feels good. That's what the new video series is going to do, and they're broken up in really small pieces. That's why I'm having trouble with it because it's. I want to make sure that you guys have the ability to just watch the sections of the setups and the stuff that I'm doing, but also I don't want to confuse you guys if you start jumping around and you get lost, right? So it's been a little interesting. What do you think about the Sustainiac pickup? They're cool. I tried one when I did the Sam Ash video. There was one in a Fernandez guitar. I see them more and more, right? It's like Vi, Satriani, Sinister Gates, Phil Collin. Everybody's got one in the neck, and it's one of those things like maybe I need one in the neck. So yeah, I wish I could just find a guitar. Maybe I'll get a Schecter with one in the neck. I've been really looking at Schecters again lately. I really miss my Schecter. Damon says, Phil, what do you think of cheaper Yamaha basses? Yamaha basses are quality. Yamaha is quality, period. They make a lot of quality stuff. It's very hard to find junk Yamaha product, and their Yamaha basses are really cool. I've owned one of my favorite 5-strings I owned was a Yamaha bass that I bought used at a music go-round for a smoking deal. And one of the cool things about Yamaha is they're like a lot of the brands that have quality but not really huge name power. Their used market is super awesome for cheap. Phil Smith said rack mount is awesome. So. Which is and then the next question was, hey Phil, do you have a Boss DS1? I do not, and I do because it's a really copied pedal. So I'm sure if I look through all my pedals, there's a DS1 type clone in here, but I don't have one anymore. But the only reason I don't have one is because it's you start collecting pedals, and after a while, you start really gravitating to a couple, and then some of the other ones you keep for, the prestige of having them or the fun of having them, right? I mean, you can't have a logical reason to have all these pedals and all these boxes of pedals I have and all these stuff unless you're either a collector or you're in the studio and you need all these sounds. And I'm not in the studio recording a ton of music, so it's really about collecting. So. It's got to be sexy to collect it, or it's got to be fun. Harry wants to know, hey Phil, can I run? Oh yeah, he said this, the GT1 into a 10-watt box, solid state. I think it can handle it. Again, Harry, I think we were asking what the GT1 is. Is that the processor? So this is a good one. Randall wants to know Johnson amplifiers ? You're talking about the old Millennium Johnson amps that they don't make anymore. They are. I can tell you right now, I know guys like Scott Grove and people collect them and love them. If you haven't ever picked one up If you guys haven't physically been around, they are so heavy, they're ridiculous. So I don't know how he takes them to a gig. He's got to have a cart. God bless him. The guy's got to be strong. The first time I picked up one of the 212 combos, it was so heavy. I go, oh my goodness. I had a Fender Twin that weighed less than this. So, but they sound good. In fact, so you know, and then I'm going to do 2 questions, then we'll wrap it up. One of the interesting things that happened at the NAMM show was I had some meetings with some companies, and one of the things I was talking about was, you know, there used to be more high-end solid-state amps like the Cyber Twin by Fender and the Millennium, you know, Johnson amps. And, you know, now a lot of the solid-state amps are all about making them inexpensive. And I think one of the reasons why solid state isn't winning the fight is because it's constantly made in an economic way. So kind of like what Quilter's doing, trying to break it to be a high-end product. I think it's smarter to make it be more of a high-end product. So let's pick 2 good questions, and then we're gonna call it today, guys. Let's see. I'm trying to find just questions. So the first one, Chris K. Yo, Phil, any crazy pedals coming out this year, like the Korg Miku? Not weird ones that I know of. So, you know, because there's always something different and weird out there, but nothing that I've seen. There is a bunch of new modeling pedals coming out from companies and stuff, and we're definitely going to see a lot of that coming out. A lot of amps, or a lot of pedals cloning amps. I'm seeing more and more of it every day. Chuck Dickens says, hey Phil, I am in the US next week and I have time to check out one shop in Vegas. Should I go to the Sam Ash, the Guitar Center, or the local Vegas shop? You might know. Thanks. I'm from Canada. Well, I've been to Vegas and I've been to all those stores. And you know, none of them are. It's weird. You would think Vegas would have cool guitar stores because people would win money and buy stuff, or people lose money and would sell their gear, right? But all those stores are very lackluster. So sadly enough, you know, if you were in Reno, you could go to Bizarre Guitar, and that's a cool shop with some cool stuff. But you're going to find that the Guitar Center in Vegas is the same as pretty much everywhere else. And the Sam Ash is a cool store, but again, the Sam Ashes aren't really going for the boutique thing. And I'm not saying that's what they're after, but usually when you're out of town and you want to look at stuff, you want to see stuff that's unique. So I don't know, you know, you're at this point, I would bet then unless somebody chimes in right now and says something cool, or later in the comments of this video, somebody's got some good incentive or, you know, advice. But my experience is all of them been pretty not so awesome. And then let's do the last question, right? Favorite brand of strings, please. Addario. Addario is my favorite brand of strings. That's what I use. And the main reasoning for it is because they have the best consistency. What I mean is, in my experience, every pack is the same. It's been that way forever. I have no problems with the other brands of strings, but I buy and pick Addario almost all the time exclusively. Let's see. Okay, and I know I said last one, but you know what? There's still 498 of us. Let's try to do a quick couple fun ones. Ready? Okay, so Daryl says, first, in Vegas, the Platinum Guitar Center is pretty cool, but Roman Guitars rocks. Roman's Guitars is, you know, because Ed passed away, so I know it's not the same as what it used to be. So Daryl, have you been in it in the recent years since his passing and his daughter's been running it? I just want to make sure. I'm not saying anything. I don't know. I haven't been in it. I haven't been in it since Ed passed away. So, okay, so the next one is, and then we're waiting, hopefully they got a comment to that. It says, is an amp into a 412 cabinet 4 times as loud as an amp with a 112? Absolutely not at all in any way. It will fill up more space, sonic space. You're going to have more low end frequencies, right? But no, that's not. It won't work like that, unfortunately, at all. It will be definitely perceived as louder, but physically, if we get the decibel meter out, I doubt you'd get much more out of it if you're using the same amp. The only thing that can help that sometimes is, because obviously if the speakers can take more wattage, the amp can be freely put out more wattage. But the rule I will stick to is A 412 would give you more low end frequency, fullness sound, but not much more volume. So, okay, so Harry says the Boss GT1 is a multi-effects pedal with an expression pedal. Then, Harry, you can stick that in front of any amp. It'll be fine. It'll just control the amp, you know. So, no, you're good to go. Any tube amp, any solid-state amp, just plug it in. You're good. It shouldn't be putting out anything more than 1/4 of a watt of signal, not enough to power headphones. And then Jim says Roman guitars is a scam. Yeah, Jim, Roman's is definitely the... you hate it or love it kind of thing. I've never had a bad experience, but I've never had a good experience. So I can't hate it. I just can't love it. And then, let's see. And I know we're over. So let's see if I can pick 2 more fast ones, and then we'll call it. Let's see. Laney Club or the Orange Micro Dark. I've never tried the Laney Cub, so I don't know. So I'd say Micro Dark because I've tried that one. But, you know. And last question. Ready? Here it is. Last question for fun. Oh, okay, so Ed says, hey, Phil, I just traded my Line 6 Spider 3 30-watt for an 80s Peavey Bandit Solo Series 65-watt combo that looks and works perfect. What do you think? Did I win? You did win, Ed. Yeah, right? Because here's why. First of all, you know, sadly enough, and I don't know if it's because the YouTubers out there or what, but the poor Line 6 guys, man, they're the winger of guitar product. Right? They just became the poster child of jokes for amps. So, and that's seriously, you know, I see 212 Line 6 Spider amps, you know, 100-watt amps. People can't get $60 for them. And I'm sitting there laughing going, you know, I would have literally came out of my skin 20 years ago for an amp like that, you know, for that price. You know, when I was broke and I didn't have any money, you could buy an amp. Even per capita, right? I mean, I don't even mean like what equivalent of $60 is now 20 years ago. I mean, for $60, right? So no, the Peavey Bandit's a legit amp, right? I mean, it's, you know, like to me, when I think of solid state amps that are quality, it's Roland Cube, it's Peavey Bandit, right? Those are the guys that, some of the old Randall amps, you know, just really good stuff. So Ed, yeah, score. I think so. Unless the other guy's watching this that did the deal, and then I'm sorry, dude. I don't think you won, but Ed won. Okay, so I'm gonna call it. Nick said, hey, what do you think of the Blackstar HT5 R? I like it. It's a good amp. I like the 1-watt better, but it is less features and it's not much different. It's in price. So, and I most of my buddies like the 5 over the 1. I'm the rarity that likes the 1-watt, but I just kind of dig it. So there you go. And only because it's worth mentioning, Randy said cables ? And funny enough, right, Randy, I actually have a video coming out this week about cables that I think you're going to really, really like. Definitely haven't seen anybody do a video like this when it comes to cables. So, and I think it's going to help everybody. So as always, thank you guys. There was like 520 of us hanging out. I really appreciate hanging out with me. And I really appreciate you guys taking some time. I know it's a long to sit for an hour and just chat and stuff, but I have a blast and I hope you did too. As always, guys, I want to thank you guys for your time and let you know to know your gear.